This is an important overturning of two key convictions during the impressive run of Preet Bharara, of course, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, where so many of the insider trading cases that have been prosecuted over the last, let's call it 5 years, have been brought. But this morning, Anthony Chiasson and Todd Newman get their sentences, respectively. I think it was 4.5 years for Newman and 6+ for Chiasson, overturned. Now, we got some hint of this back in April. Back in April was when we were actually hearing the appeal judge hit hard at the U.S. Attorney's Office in terms of some of the things that they used in terms of getting the conviction, specific to the jury instruction at the time of the original trial, where the appeal, which was based on the fact that they said that the court erred in its refusal to instruct the jury that Chiasson and Newman, in this case, were 4 people removed from the original tipper and had no idea who he was, and had to know that the tipper received a benefit in exchange for the information, something they say they did not know. And so that does appear to have been sort of the crux of the overturning of this important conviction by Mr. Bharara. I do have a statement here from Gregory Morvillo. He was the lawyer for Chiasson, and he said, "Today's decision is a resounding victory for the rule of law and for Anthony Chiasson personally. Mr. Chiasson's always conducted himself according to the highest ethical professional standards in service to many of the world's leading hedge fund investors who were his clients for years. He's deeply gratified the decision today, issued today, unequivocally reestablishes his innocence under the law, consistent with what Anthony has steadfastly maintained for the duration of this ordeal." Newman, for his part, was at Diamondback as well, and this had to do with receiving a tip about Dell that was, again, one person to another, and yet another. Importantly, this also will bring up questions about the prosecution of Michael Steinberg by Bharara. You may remember that name, of course. He was a senior member at SAC who was brought down or convicted on a similar sort of a charge where he claimed, "I didn't know that it was inside information."
David, I think there's no doubt that that case is in jeopardy, and although Michael Steinberg was not technically an appellant here, so he was not technically one of the convicted insider traders whose case is overturned, there's almost no doubt that will be the case, that he will end up a free man here, although the technical legal details will have to be forthcoming. I've reached out to his lawyer, Barry Burke, and hope to get a statement from him imminently, but definitely very good news for Steinberg, and the fact that his case would almost certainly be one that was affected by Chiasson and Newman was one thing that made this particular appeal especially interesting. This really is a stinging defeat for Antonia Apps, the prosecutor who handled these cases and is now in private practice, but also for her boss at the U.S. Attorney's Office, Preet Bharara, of course. Now, Bharara, who joined the office in 2009 at a time when the nation was reeling from the financial crisis and looking to see people held accountable for that, has really made a name for himself with these insider trading cases, as you know, having been successful in 80+ cases. We're recalculating the exact numbers in light of today. But this is obviously a setback for him, and especially, David, the fact that these judges have said in their opinion they're dismissing these indictments with prejudice, and it just seems that it casts a pall over future efforts in this regard.